Joining us now is an award-winning sales and branding expert. And if your eyes are glazing over right now, stop for just a moment. This is someone who's going to help you, your children, your grandchildren position themselves to get the right job. We are talking about Ali Meng. Welcome to What She Said.
Thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be here on such a beautiful evening.
And the book is called Your First Moment Earns You More Moments. Stand out in today's job market?
Yes. What do you think about that title? Does that tell you exactly where we're at?
It's like first impressions count,
Correct.
But maybe you're meaning in more than in person.
Exactly. It comes with the handshake, but it also comes with your social media platform. How you write a letter, how your first opening moment when you're doing a presentation or an interview. Mm-hmm. It begets each other. So you make the most of that first moment so that you can earn more moments.
The whole job market has changed. Mm-hmm. And our finance minister, Bill Morneau, recently was just warning about the job churn. So bottom line, over the past 30 years, things have changed around. Nobody is going to have the same job for 30 years. And people have to really brand themselves because companies aren't branding them anymore.
No. And the thing is, I do think that we have to approach, even if we are 9-to-5 jobbers, we have to approach our career as if we are entrepreneurs, as if we are sole proprietors. And that comes with branding. And I think, 15 years ago when you saw a resume and there were lots and lots and lots of different jobs, people would look at you and think, what are you, ADD? They sort of see that as a negative. And now if you don't see a lot of variety of professional career industries, it almost is a negative now. So I think as sole proprietors, we have an advantage because we know that we always have to make every kind of, success and career situation we're in because it always has an end. So just take advantage of what you're doing. And I think that jobbers can also learn from that because their brand is the only thing that keeps them going.
Okay, so is there a fine line, though, between marketing yourself and being considered narcissistic?
There is a fine line for sure.
Okay.
And I think that there's a balance, celebrating what you're up to. But I think it's the connecting with people that really makes it not so narcissistic, and celebrating what others are doing. I think one of the things that happens, particularly with people who are selling themselves, is they're perceived sometimes with just, well, what's in it for me, for me, for me. But if you can approach it to say, how can I benefit you? That is really an important component, and I think that goes back to branding. I can brand myself and help align that, but if I can help you, whether it's an employer or, a contractor or whatever, better your product, then together we're working, for the greater good, if you will. And I think that's the key to branding. How can I benefit you?
I think many people in our generation think of branding in terms of corporate. So they think of companies and they're not realizing, we have learned the hard way, that you now have to brand yourself personally. Yes. So companies are looking at candidates who have X number of Twitter followers or Instagram, or because they're expecting you to brand yourself, to bring it to them.
You betcha. And oftentimes, too, decision makers will look at how many Twitter followers you have because it talks to how you're building a reputation. It talks to how you connect with people and how you come with that mindset of how can I help you? How can I benefit you? And I think that that's one of the things that I will advise young people specifically because, they're all scrambling, working as baristas, even though they have a degree in law, but they can't get a job. So what is going to make the difference between, the 5 people?
Well, we saw that girl a year or two ago stand on the sidewalk on Bloor Street with a sign saying why you should hire me. And lo and behold, somebody admired her marketing skills and she got hired.
And you know what? It's so raw and honest, and sometimes we need that. I think being too polished sometimes takes away from really connecting to the heart of the matter. And I think that's another big difference.
So how have resumes changed?
Resumes, to me, are still important, but they get you in the door. And once you're in the door of an interview or a decision maker, now it's up to you to stand on the corner and say, this is why you should hire me because, I'm a leader. I work well with others. I love managing. I love, whatever those important sort of soft skills are that are appropriate for your job. That's when it is all about standing out. And you know what? You just need to have some insight as to what differentiates you. And that's really what this book is about. What differentiates today?
So if you are now speaking to the millennial children or grandchildren of our listeners who are about to graduate this year and are looking to find a job, what is your list? What do they need to do? And they can start working on it now.
You know what? It's towards the end of my book, chapter 7, I believe. It's become a marketing machine. So figure out, so get your resume together, get your list of colleagues and contacts together so that you have this toolbox with which you can build upon as you go. I think oftentimes what we do is we wait and then, through this, oh my gosh, I've got to get a job. Think about it much sooner than that because you are competing against the world now. That is probably the biggest single difference between our era of, 20, 25 years ago, where we were competing regionally. Now we're competing against people worldwide. So we have to be able to stand out and we have to have insight as to what differentiates us.
So how can we as parents or grandparents help them?
I would say, the volunteering is a huge part, certainly, of post-secondary and even secondary. You're getting your volunteer hours. But most kids go through these volunteer hours just getting through the hours as opposed to asking questions, making connections. This is how you can create your own network and start to depend on yourself as opposed to others to help you open the doors. So it's really just approaching everything you do with how can I build my reputation and how can I build my knowledge and my experience, and going in with that attitude is going to make you a huge bit of difference.
And your profile.
And your profile, for sure. For sure.
Now, I'm just entertained here because Christine often talks about the new generation as having to have their foot on many different lily pads.
Yes.
Now, you also use the lily pad. You have the Lilypad Strategy, and right at the center is hook them.
Yes.
Like a hook in music.
Yes, correct. For me, that comes from my home shopping experience. I've been working in the last 10 years, and the hook is the important part, and you're right, for jingles and radio and all the rest. But, with one pitch, you have to be able to hook them, but you have to also entice them. You have to overcome objections. You have to do it all together, and that's the essence of the Lilypad strategy.
So you're saying you fulfill a need, which you discussed. Tell why you matter,
yes.
Why you would be good for them.
Yes, exactly.
Illuminate the experience. What does that mean?
I would say, you can give your examples of how you are a leader.
I see, okay.
And how you manage people and that kind of thing.
Rise above apathy.
Rise above apathy is oftentimes in home shopping specifically when we can't see the camera, we can't see who we're talking to, they can easily click you off without us even knowing.
Damn, does that happen?
Does that happen? That's almost a slogan, isn't it? And the rising of above apathy, we can all sit there and judge and go, oh, why do I need to hear any more of this? So it's the job of the pitcher or the person who is interviewing to rise above that. So answer those objections in a way that's exciting, as enticing, and is personable. Because that's really what it is. So it goes back to having insight as to what makes you special, because that insight will help you no matter if your job, one first year of being a professional to 30 years into it and you haven't even thought about what makes you special anymore.
Ali, we don't have much time. This will have to be fast. But let's not forget the baby boomers who who can't afford to be retired.
Yes.
And they have to go out there now in an era that they don't understand and have to pitch themselves.
And that's a great point, Christine, and thank you. It's one of the reasons why I kept this book so short, because none of us want to spend hours and hours and hours in reading. It's very concise, and you can absolutely, there is social media component. That's in the book. We talk about the personal branding. It's my last chapter, and it really gives you an idea of how to capture that very quickly. And you're right. It's we all have to do it. I think it's social platform, and I think it's what makes you so special today, right now, and that will help you create a resume that's winning.
Okay, so your first moment earns you more moments. That helps take you through how to do all that, how to be selective, what works, what doesn't.
Yes.
So where do people get the book?
Amazon.ca. Or .com if you're in the United States. By the way, it comes in Kindle, ebook, and the audiobook, and I had it professionally scored by an amazing Toronto jazz musician. I love the audiobook, and I think that we're here in the radio, we love the audible version. So it's something that I'm very, very proud of, and Amazon.ca.
Okay, and tell people where they can follow you on social media.
They can follow me, Ali, at alimang.com, of course. I have my Facebook professional, that's Ali Mang, and I'm on Twitter as well, and Instagram, the Ali Mang.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is What She Said on The Jewel.